if you tell someone, oh, something good is happening in your life, and you look at them, they're like, oh, lucky you. Or you're looking
Mm.
in their eyes and you can tell that they're hating.
Mm.
And I've been and seen friends that was happy when my car got stolen. My car got stolen at 17 years old. Everybody have their own path and journey. So clap for that person.
Mm.
Clap.
All right, thank you. My name is Oyebanji Akins, and on this particular episode, you're gonna be seeing the wonderful lady you've been seeing. She's been on board a couple of times. We've been inviting her back to back, and we have her again. And you know the person? She's a nurse practitioner, if I'm correct. She's registered. She knows it.
No, I'm not a nurse practitioner.
Oh, I take that back. Registered nurse.
RN, baby.
Thank you for that. Yes, thank you for correcting me on that. You already know what I'm talking about, Melissa.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
And I'm sorry for that. That's wrong of me to put you on that kind of, But back to that. On this particular episode, I want to talk to you about friends.
Yes.
What has been your experience? When people say, "Oh, that's my friend," that's in America. I learned who's your friend and who they call associate.
Yes.
In Nigeria, we don't have associates. We just know everybody's friends.
Yes.
But America, I learned to realize that when somebody say that's my friend,
yes,
it's different from associate.
Yes.
So we want to talk about friends. What has been your experience? Who are the people you regard as friends? And when you tell me those people you regard as friends, are they the one you regard as good ones as your friend, or you regard both good and bad as friends?
Okay, one, I don't have any bad friends.
Okay.
We in 2025, so they got kicked out the previous years.
Okay.
So no bad friends over here. We all have associates as well as good friends, bad friends. But I feel like I have a good group of girls and guys that are truly my friends and truly care about me. However, like, to me, you want to be around people who appreciate you, that it's not a gatekeeper, that really want to see you win. Okay, so that's the main thing that I want people to realize is find those signs in people that are not actually really want to see you win. For example, if you tell someone, oh, something good is happening in your life, and you look at them, they're like, oh, lucky you. Or you're looking in their eyes and you can tell that they're hating. You can look into someone's eyes and tell that they're hating. So that passive aggressiveness, you need to look out for. Because people will pretend, they only could hide for so long. The envy, the jealousy, because they're not where you're at in life. And it's okay. It's going to get there. Everybody have their own path and journey. So clap for that person. Clap. Be happy for them. It's going to happen. Because as you start elevating in life, it's not your fault. You're praying. You're asking God to deliver you. You're asking God to make things happen. And it's happening. So people need to come in and say, you know what? I know this person. I see where she came from. And now look at her life. And clap. Instead of being jealous because you're still in the same situation that you were in. Because at one point we both were. And I've been and seen friends that was happy when my car got stolen. My car got stolen at 17 years old. It was devastating. And I remember when the cops called and said, everybody was sleeping over at my house and my mom's house. Your car is found. No one said, oh my God, only one friend. They were mad that my car was found.
So let me pause you a little bit on that. I'm glad you said when you're in 17.
Yeah.
Growing up, I'm from Nigeria and we have a lot of audience in Nigeria. Yeah. So that's the perspective Nigerians have about Black Americans, African Americans.
Yeah.
I want you to explain a little bit why Americans believe there's friends and there's associates. Now, when you break it out, I want to ask you on the question on the story you're telling me.
Okay.
So why do Americans believe, oh, that's my associate, that's not my friend, and this is my friend?
So associates can be anybody. You just met the person, you're getting to know them. I think people use the friend title so loosely. Okay, so you want to get to know someone before you call them a friend. Everyone is not your friend. So as I get to know you, you're my associate. I associate with you. We may go out, get a drink. We may party. Am I telling you my personal business? And I'm sharing you deep thoughts about my background and what I do for a living? No, because I don't know you. So let's not make that normal because everyone is not your friend. They're associates. They're, I don't know what you want to call, I guess,
Yeah, I think we in Nigeria, we only know friends, but when I go to America, I started understanding associates and friends, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, back to the question, the story you're telling me, I want to follow up with that.
Yeah.
So, the question I want to ask you, do you think American way of growing up, environment where you're being raised, family background, a little bit about historical fact of saying, slavery, does it have impact in growing up for African American kids in America?
Yes, because I mean, Black people, African American people, we have literally started from scratch. We already had the world against us if we were born because of the color of our skin. Slavery slavery was existent. It was, and because of that, even back when Martin Luther King, made sure that we all had equal rights, there still wasn't equal. My grandmother, who worked at Pratt & Whitney, that came from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and moved to Connecticut, she was making maybe $5 an hour, while a white woman was making $10 an hour, making the same pay. So,
but do you think all those things play roles in how kids are being raised to the level where, even though when you call people, this is my friend, because it's so much common around Black African Americans friends where I'm not saying for you where you hear part of the story. For me though, I feel like most of the reason why this disconnection about friends in America for females or male is
Black
because
people are against each other. That's what's going on. It goes back from slavery when they put the light-skinned person inside and the black person outside, or whatever you want to say. Birth of a Nation. Watch that movie. Okay, it starts from there.
But don't you think we coming on board to America should help in shaping how you guys see Black? Because I think Africans are now becoming more in America. Do we help in terms of how you guys see friendship, or we're not helping?
No.
Yeah?
No, you're not helping at all.
Nah, I don't take that in now. So make me understand why you said we're not helping.
I don't know. I feel like the people that I know you're Nigerian. The friends that I know, they have not showed me. Especially out here.
This is bad. Wait, you said me and the people you know. So you're telling me I've not shown you anything good?
No, you have showed me.
But
only a couple.
But let's take it away from us now.
Yeah.
From the perspective of going to club, being outside, African Americans.
Yeah.
You don't think we're both now learning from ourselves in terms of understanding what is called friends?
Yes. You know what a Nigerian told me, older guy? He said racism doesn't exist in America because his daughter goes to an all-white school and she's not experiencing racism.
Wow.
I'm not kidding you. At that point, I walked away from the conversation.
But you can't blame his truth though, because that's strange. If somebody should tell you a Nigerian daughter go to a white school and she never understand or never experience, that's man.
Just because you haven't experienced it does not mean it does not exist.
Nah, I like what you're saying. That makes sense now.
Okay, so
you felt that conversation, the person was trying to throw it down, saying it doesn't exist?
Yeah.
That's
how I felt like,
bad.
Since I've been to America, I really haven't experienced it. But the reason why you're here, and it's free, because of Black people, African Americans. But you wouldn't leave your country to be a slave.
I like this. I like where we're going with this because I'm about to say something.
You wouldn't leave your country to be a slave in America. It's because African Americans had helped y'all with rights. Come and be free.
But wait, now I'm like where we're going with this. I want to say something on this because we're talking about friendship.
Yeah.
And one of the bone contention of this podcast is about connecting the dots. So I'm liking where we're going with this.
Yeah.
And the reason why we always say about connecting the dots is, for me being in America, I've been with a lot of African Americans, and one thing I've learned is we don't get this kind of a conversation to know who we are. And when people do it, there's no room for people to really respect your view. Yeah. People just want to force their own view into the conversation.
They're calling, Nigerians are calling Black people Akata.
Nah,
and
so
I
wait.
I want to know what that is.
So okay,
good.
I'm about now. To my best knowledge today, I'm gonna tell you what I know about it. Mm-hmm. Now, I always do one thing. I'm not going to repeat the word. I'm just going to reference what you're saying.
Why you can't repeat it?
Because I try to tell people around me, I know how it triggers a lot of African Americans. So I try not to encourage it by using the word. So I'm just going to reference what you're saying. Okay. A lot of my friends know that, maybe a couple of years back. Because the reason is this: even though the story that being said about what you referenced to, I think a lot of people are mixing the story.
Uh,
Now, when females find themselves in the midst of maybe in a club and they hear the name that you mentioned, some female get triggered about the story they know.
yeah.
Now, irrespective of any story that might be out there, this is what I know. Now, what you reference to is an animal back home. It's a wild cat that we felt like it doesn't stay in the house, it's away from home.
Okay.
So because it's away from home, they have their own wild way of doing things. Now, if you look at a story about African Americans to Nigerian or Africans, you're away from home. Now, unfortunately, the way Western world has reshaped African American is different from how it is back home. Now, this is a story that was being told to me about the name you mentioned. But unfortunately, I've heard different story about that name. That when females hear it, they get triggered about it. Now, I'm not rewriting the story. Hold on.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, I'm not rewriting the truth that's been out there.
Is it? I'm asking you a question. Is it good or bad?
So I just explained to you the meaning of the name.
It's only yes or no. Is it good or bad?
To me, it's not bad.
Okay, so no.
Yes.
Okay.
To me, it's not bad, but because of how it's being used, there's no point of me trying to use it because I can't. The thing is, let me just say, it shouldn't be a name that should be used in the first place because what it means is just a wild cat that's outside the house. So we have cats that stay in the house. We have the one that stays outside the house.
Yeah.
So what it means is the name you reference those that say outside the house because you guys are not in Africa. So that's one of the reasons that I know why the name has been mentioned. But there's so many stories that write how that is. So for me, I don't even want to use it in my first place. Okay. But coming back to what we're saying, I think there's still be a lot of gap between African Americans and Africans because we're all being given different story about who we are. Yeah. And we're having that pre-thought in our head that even though you're telling me anything, I'm still believing an old story about you. And which goes back to what you mentioned, the name. So sometimes people just use it in a phrase of, I think Nigeria uses as a code actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's even a way to respect you. Some females don't know. Yeah. Because for example, you look like a Nigerian. Now, I might want to talk Nigerian, right? In my language. If I do that, it's like we're trying to box you out of a conversation. Yeah. So most Nigerians quickly say, oh, this is this person. So if you want to talk in English. Now, it's being used in a reverse way too. If I want to say something I don't want you to understand, they still use that reference. So most of the time, most females feel like, oh, you're about to say something you don't want me to understand. You're about to call me that name. Yeah. So now you're about to say something else. So I'm only breaking down because like I said, the main reason why we have the podcast is to have people a lot to come around so that we can sit down and understand those things we call ourselves that are not true. Because the perspective is being put out there to disorganize us, to disassociate ourselves. When I can easily listen to your story and respect who you are than just projecting what I don't know about you.
Yeah.
So
it's no person.
Back to you now. Do you think there's going to be a room where Nigerian and African American is going to be like this? Because I feel like we're only like this. It's only relationships like this. When you take out, which it doesn't last actually, the experience of what I've heard is not like percentage of relationship of African Americans in Nigeria that stay strong is so small than the one that goes like this.
Yeah.
So from your experience, what do you think African Americans, Nigerians African needs to do? That you think they should work on based on the experience that you listen to people?
Just not judging the book as the cover, as you don't know the person. So like your perception of African Americans, like, oh, they're dumb or they don't go to college or they're not hardworking. But then you meet someone that's also African American that is hardworking. So it's like, oh, and they're surprised, even with me. They're like, oh my God, like, yeah, I didn't have to scam. I could say something about scammers for Nigerians. I didn't have to scam nothing. I got it out the mud. So at the end of the day, it's like, I don't judge. I don't say like, oh, every Nigerian is a scammer. Every Black person, every African American person, they don't know what they're doing. So like, I just feel like, yes, when you look at the statistics, there is, culture-wise, Black people are not taking advantage of certain opportunities. Or because it could be numerous reasons. The situation they live in, right? They've seen their mom